Welcome to Knicksfandom. This is an independent New York Knicks fan-based podcast, which was created by fans for fans. The show is hosted by LA Blackwell, Danny, and Flau. They'll discuss the issues surrounding the Knicks, the NBA, and various other sports-related topics. Join us. It's going to be a heck of a ride.
Ain't no stopping me now. You can rock with me. I'm going to bring it to you. I know that sounds like the Warriors theme song at this time, but in reality, it's just a start to another great new podcast episode. This is episode 26 of our podcast known as Knicksfandom. As always, I'm your host, LA Blackwell. Hope everything is going well with y'all listeners out there. I'm pleased to join by my co-host, Flo. How you doing, Flo?
LA, I'm great. How you doing today, man?
Doing good, brother. How about you, Danny D? I'm also joined by my other fellow co-host. How you doing, Danny D?
I'm good. How's everything going on with you, LA?
I'm all right. We back, man. Episode 26 of Knicksfandom. We got some great topic for today's show. We will delve into Game 1 of the NBA 2017 NBA Finals, as well as our keys to victory for tonight's scheduled Game 2 and the series as a whole. We will talk briefly about the Charles Oakley upcoming trial date, and we will touch upon an NBA doctor ruling that Chris Bosh is dealing with career-ending illness, meaning that Miami Heat will be able to remove his contract from their salary cap once they officially release him. We'll also discuss several other intriguing sports-related topics. So people, get relaxed, get ready, and we're going to jump right into it. First things up, we're going to talk about the Cavs and the Warriors, which the Warriors won in a convincing victory by a score of 113-91. What you thought about that first game regarding this NBA Finals? Starting with you, Danny D.
The first game, it's a rout, man. They ran them boys off the court. And the Cavs look hard replay. They didn't know what to do, man. They look confused and scared out there, you know. But they got another game coming up. Hopefully they can try to do another competitive game because I want to see some competition. This is for the championship.
That's true. They look bewildered, man. How about you, Flo? What you thought about that Game 1?
Man, oh man, to believe it or not, LA, Cavs got lucky. Warriors missed a lot of open shots. This is a game that Golden State should have won by 40.
Ooh, 40. That's a bold statement. Why you say that?
It just seems like the Cavaliers seem like they were shell-shocked. Like you played this team last year in the finals, you have idea what what type of offensive set they're gonna run. The only new player they added was subtraction by addition, which was they traded Harrison. They allowed Harrison Barnes to go as a free agent, and they signed KD. Nothing specifically special. So I don't see why the Cavs. I don't know why they struggled. I really don't know why they struggled so badly.
Yeah, but that's a huge addition, man. That's a top 3 right now, all-time player in the NBA right now in the current NBA, I would say. So and MVP.
We agree on that, but I'm just saying, like, still, I don't know why the Cavs struggled with their game planning.
I hear you. This is me first game and looking at it overall. I mean, we all talked about what we thought, how the game was going to look in the series as a whole. And I just think this game you really saw the team that played up to the strengths. We said that last episode. Make sure y'all check that out. That was Knicks Fan episode 25, and we talked about it. Very thorough. And we spoke about whoever imposed their will. And that's just what you saw. The Warriors ran them up and down the court. They kept running. They hit the threes. And as always, when the shots go in, the offense always looks great. And they pick and roll them to death. A lot of backcourt cuts. And even Jaja, if you look early in the game, he missed a couple of shots he should have hit easily. So they was doing a lot of that, a lot of pick and roll over and over. And he was hitting their shots. When you hit the shots, the game always looks better. It looks a lot smoother for them. And for Cleveland, a lot of guys didn't show up like you was hoping. And, I want to get into a little more details with that. Talking about Cleveland overall, what you thought about some of the guys that showed up, some guys that didn't, starting with you, Danny D, in the first game so far?
The first game, the only person that really stepped up was, you got Kyrie and you had LeBron. Kevin Love, he got a lot of rebounds, but a lot of rebounds that he got was the rebounds off his miss. I think he went like 4 for 13. And as a whole, you need other players to step up. You got the bench didn't do much. JR as a starter had 3 points. Tristan Thompson had 0 points, 4 rebounds. You're the center guy. You have to step up and defend. You have to do more than that. LeBron and Kyrie can't do it by themselves. That's why it's called a team game. You need people to play. Darren Williams. I don't know if Darren Williams he's a legit point guard, but there's no reason why he should be getting outplayed by Ian Clark. I don't know if Ian Clark I didn't even know Ian Clark was on that team until Mike Brown was giving this dude some play in the rotation. You know what I'm saying? And then it's bad when you have to have Dante Jones. What's the last time Dante Jones played? Dante Jones had 7 points. He only played 4 minutes in garbage time. There's no reason why he should be like the fourth leading scorer on the team at the moment. There's no reason. Dante Jones? You have to come better than that, Cleveland.
That's true. How about you, Flo? What you thought about Cleveland the first game? What they did good or did bad, players wise?
Well, Kyle Korver had 0 points, 0 for 3 from the field. Channing Frye didn't even play at all.
No, he didn't. He didn't get any really burn in that game. I think the matchups really was catching him.
LeBron had 8 turnovers. Kyrie Irving had 4 turnovers. Overall, as a team, the Cavs had 20 turnovers. You can't win basketball games that way, especially in the NBA Finals. And like Dee mentioned, Love was 4 for 13 from the field, so not good. And LeBron had 20 attempts. He was 9 for 20 from the field. Not good at all. Taking 20 shots for LeBron in this NBA Finals, no, not good.
I would differ with you a little bit. I think LeBron got to take it on him a little bit more. He got to make KD work on that side if they going against him. You're not going to win with just distributing the whole time. Go ahead, Flo.
No. My point was him taking 20 shots is no good. He needs to take more than 20. Okay, they're not going to win. Gotcha. They're not going to win the series with him taking 20 shots.
Yeah, I think that, but I think also with him scoring and his assists, he had 8 assists that game. But the thing is, you only had him and really Kyrie that was really doing much in that game. JR was 1 of 4. You had Thompson 0 for 3. And he didn't even get that many rebounds in that game. Thompson had like 4 boards, I think. And that was the key to me is them dominating the boards. Kevin Love had like 21 rebounds, but also LeBron had, I think, 15 rebounds. But you need those 3 to dominate them boards, especially to make when they miss the threes. You got to get all them loose balls. And the Warriors are getting a lot of loose balls. It's just the effort. You could definitely see they was hungry for that game. That game 1, they was definitely showing that they want to make this. Last year was a fluke on their part, and they came out hungry, man. KD, I thought he was going to get caught up a little bit with the whole momentum of the game, the pageantry of it, and everything of that nature. But he came to play. I got to give it to him. I was hard on him going into it. I still think he hadn't been tested yet. Really, this series it's still early. It's a lot early. So we're going to see what happens. They definitely got to change the game up, slow it down, get some rebounds, and make them work. He really didn't make them work that game. I mean, KG dropped 38, but that was as quiet 3 as you're going to see. Same thing with Steph Curry. He had, 6 threes, I believe, and things of that, and 28 points. But, I mean, they dodged one. Like, Green didn't play well, and also Thompson didn't play well. And you dodged the bullet with that. So, we're going to see what happens as it goes further on. It's definitely still the beginning of this series. There's a lot of things to go. But also, regarding this series overall, what is your you feel like there's a key aspects going to game 2? Starting with you, Flo, this time.
For the Cavaliers, they got to limit their turnovers. Golden State only had 4 turnovers. Cavs had 20, so for the Cavs to have a chance, they got to limit their turnovers. 1, they got to continue to crash the boards. I believe in game 1, they have 59 rebounds to Golden State 50. Also, they got to be able to just continue to attack the basket. They got to be aggressive, take more higher percentage shots. I want to know if there's going to be a Channing Frye sighting on the court. I'd love to know that. And like I said before earlier, gentlemen, LeBron got to take 30, 31 shots for the rest of the series. He's got to. And JR definitely has got to score in double digits. Can't afford to score 3 points in NBA Finals. And hopefully Tristan Thompson and Kyle Korver is in the scorebook.
Yeah, I definitely hear where you're coming from. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For Golden State, Draymond Green can't afford to shoot 3 for 12. Klay Thompson's got to get going. He was 3 for 16 from the field. He only scored 6 points. He's got to get going in the series. And Golden State just got to continue to play great defense. And KD and Steph, they just got to continue to be aggressive.
Yeah, got to agree with you on that part. Thank you, Flo. How about you, Dan D? What you think the key going to game 2 is?
Similar to what Flo said, the Cavs just have to limit the turnovers, and try to slow down the pace of the game and type high percentage shot. If the three ain't falling, if your name at Kyle Korver, I don't want you shooting no threes, go to the basket. Because you got to go to the basket, slow the game down, and get more physical with these guys. If you got to, it's got box out. Everybody got to box out. It's not one per. Everybody has to box out and try to go to the basket, and try to hit open shots. And for the Warriors, they got to keep on doing what they got to do. They say Klay's in the slump, but Klay is playing excellent defense. He's playing excellent defense. Okay, excellent defense. So whoever's the main primary scorer, Klay is guarding. And also thing is, Klay, they keep on saying he's in the slump. He's in the slump also because he's not getting the ball because KD got the ball in his hand majority of the time now. KD is taking the shots Klay should be taking. But overall, that's all Golden State got to keep on doing is run up and down the court, hitting open shots, and they might come out with this W tonight too.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely that defense Klay is playing. That one play against, who was that? Kevin Love. And he just stood him up. And Kevin Love thought he was going to body him down, and he's like, I'm not having that, man. That's a strong guy right there. Definitely would like to see him in a Knicks uniform, but, that's something else down the road. But for me, I think the main aspects you got to look at is rebounding. I think it was the 67-60. Can't be that close. Cleveland got to dominate that, man. They got to. Also, when you look at it, the assists, 31-15, you can't have Golden State. That's basically Golden State doing their thing, run up and down the court, pick and roll. Got to slow them down. You got to stop the ball. That's the main thing. They didn't stop the ball. Too many times Kevin Durant was just going 3-point line, taking 2 steps in, and he was at the basket. Can't do that. You got to get his back dirty, as they say, man. Let him know you're there. Also, turnovers killed them 20-4. Got to keep control of the ball. Golden State would kill you with that if you're giving them extra chances. And then points in the paint. Also, Golden State dominating that too, which is crazy. It had 56, I believe, to 30. You can't have that with them. That should be the other way around. So all the things they did right was what Cleveland should have did in that game. So we'll see as time goes by. Who do y'all got in the winner of game 2? Starting with you this time, Flo.
Pressure's on, believe it or not, I think the pressure's on Golden State. They got to win this game. So I'm going with Golden State.
Okay. How about you, Danny D? Who you got winning game 2?
If it's close, I got Cleveland trying to pull it out tonight.
Cleveland definitely needs it. I agree with you. But I don't know. I just feel like Golden State going to win this. It's at home. So I feel like they're going to, Cleveland going to make this tough, man. I feel like they're going to wait till their back is against the door and they're against the wall, and finally going to show up and realize this is what they got to do. So, any more thoughts regarding the finals, fellas, before we go to the next segment?
LA, I just want to mention that, and I was going to leave it till the end, but I'll mention it now. In regards to Golden State Warriors, according to Kelly Dyer of The Ball Don't Lie, the Golden State Warriors head coach, Steve Kerr, will be coaching Game 2 and the rest of the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I heard that, but I wasn't quite sure yet. But that could make a difference, though. Do you think it's going to be good or bad for them, though?
No, I think it's going to be very helpful for Golden State because, believe it or not, he was actually coaching in practice. So, I think it'll help them a lot. Mike Brown was not even coaching the practice. He was only coaching the games. He was there to aid Coach Kerr, but the players miss Coach Kerr, and I'm sure they're happy to have him back. It definitely is going to help. It'll give the coaching edge back to Golden State in this series.
That doesn't bode well for Game 2 then. I'm thinking more about it. They could definitely give him an energy boost. He's going to be breaking clipboards. So, we'll see what happens. What do you think about that, Danny D, if Steve Kerr come back? I know you're a big fan of Steve Kerr.
Man, listen, Steve Kerr, man. Everybody saying he's coming back. He never went let nowhere. He was texting Mike Brown what to do and telling him what to do from the get-go. He didn't go nowhere.
Had that thing in his ear, quarterback style coaching. I got you. Okay, well that's cool. Good to see him back on the bench if he's healthy enough. You want everybody to be at their full strength. He just he's a good guy for the most part from what we hear. So we wish him nothing but the best with that. And you want everybody to be there with no excuses. That's the big thing. So we'll see though. The series just getting started. We'll definitely talk more about it as we go along. And for our next segment, it's our weekly Knicks Roundup. Okay, fellas. As reported by Ian Begley of ESPN staff writer, a Knicks legend Charles Oakley on Friday, rejecting the opportunity to have charges stemming from a February incident at Madison Square Garden dismissed and requested a trial to fight those charges. Judge Joanne Waters set a trial date for August 14th during Oakley's appearance at Manhattan Criminal Court. Oakley mostly declined comment while walking out of the courthouse saying, "It's part of life, it's part of life." Well, here we are. I didn't know it was going to get to this point, and the Knicks are going to trial against Charles Oakley. We went through this incident in a previous episode 14, on the Knicks Strong Like Oak. Make sure y'all check out that episode. We was very thorough, back and forth, talked about it from different points. So we're just going to touch upon it a little bit more since now it's actually going to court. And what you think about this, Danny D, first up?
Oak think he didn't do anything wrong, so he doesn't think he should get the charge dropped and things like that. He wants to fight it because he thinks that he didn't do nothing wrong, and also he probably thinks that Dolan defamed his name, trying to call him an alcoholic and had anger problems. So he probably wants to. He always has to say, he doesn't want to go down quietly. I guess he wants to stand up if he don't believe he did anything wrong.
Yeah, definitely. How about you, Flo? Thank you, D.
LA, just to correct you, I believe the trial date is set for August 4th, not August 14th, August 4th.
Yes, August 4th. That's what I meant. Thank you, Flo.
No problem. In regards to Charles Oakley, like D mentioned, I just think he wants to clear his name and he wants to have his say in court. I think he wants everything documented because with the alleged comments where it was stated that Charles needs some help and he might be an alcoholic. So I think Charles just wants to clear his name. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely. It's just a bad look, though. That it's gotten to this point. You would hope they could do some mediation, or they wouldn't have to get to this point. It's just a bad look for upcoming free agents. Well, free agency will be pretty much done by that part. A lot of it in July. That's the only good thing with it. But you don't want this thing kind of lingering. You don't want that to be one of your former players. One of your people that's basically retiring as numbers type of players. And this is what now in court against them with that incident. It's just like it will not go away type of thing. But I understand this is Oakley, fighting for reputation. But in life, that's all you have sometimes. So definitely worth fighting for. I understand it. But you would hope they can get to some type of agreement outside of court before it even gets there. Really won't want to see that video-wise or pictures-wise. Oakley going out of court, going against Dolan, back and forth. It just could get real ugly to me. So that's something that you got to think about. We'll definitely stay tuned, see how that goes. And another issue regarding something I have read regarding who was that before? Frank Isola, excuse me. And I saw a recent article in the Daily News, and he spoke about two things. I wanted to go over them real quick with you guys. And he was talking about the Knicks are looking at athletic perimeter small forward, and he was thinking about Andre Robertson, from Oklahoma City. I'm not that big fan of him. But I was just thinking about what did y'all think about it overall if the Knicks would try to pick him up as maybe a backup small forward in that team. Starting with you, Danny D.
Hey, man, no offense to Andrew. I have no problem against him. I don't know the guy personally, but I seen what he did in that series when OKC lost, man. They was leaving this dude wide open. Wide open. He couldn't hit no shot, no layup, no nothing. It was basically a 5-on-4 on the court. But, the Knicks have history of picking up those players. So you might as well bring them all over because that's what we do anyway, right?
I hear you. What you think about that, Flo? Thank you, D.
If I'm Phil Jackson, if you listen to this, no, I don't want this guy nowhere on my team. This guy can't shoot a lick, can't make any free throws. He's only known as a defensive stopper. I don't want him nowhere near my team. Right now, if you're the Knicks, what you need right now, you need guys. You need two-way players. You need a guy like Courtney Lee. As much as I've kind of, criticized Courtney Lee, not per se him, but his contract. You need guys that play like Courtney Lee. Play defense, give you some offense. That's it. Andre Robertson does not give you any type of offense whatsoever.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you guys. And he went 3 for 21 from free throws in the first round. You talking about hacker Shaq, man, hacker Andre. But that's I can't deal with that even, though. I know the defense is atrocious with the Knicks this year, but you can't do that just trying to plug holes and get defenders individually. You got to do it as a team defense, the team defensive concept. And this team is not ready to win next year. You don't plug these type of players in me unless you like a year or so away from winning. The Knicks are not there yet. You got at least 2-3 years right now in my eyes. So I don't see the purpose of going after players like that right now. And one other thing I want to go over real quick with you fellas was everybody, we talked about last episode about Chris Paul possibly going to the Spurs. So we also talked about they may have to try to free up contracts or make room to bring him there. And one of the guys was Lamarcus Aldridge. And Frank Isola also reported that maybe the Knicks may want to try to go after Lamarcus Aldridge and make a trade for Carmelo Anthony. Their contracts are somewhat similar. They're both contracts are up within the next 2 years or so. And basically, the upcoming year, Lamarcus Aldridge's contract is, give me 1 second, guys. And Lamarcus Aldridge's contract for the next year is $21,461,010. And Carmelo Anthony contract for that year is $26,243,760. So it's pretty close, but the Spurs may have to add an extra player just to make that work. Salary cap wise, maybe in the form of their small forward of Kyle Anderson. He make about $2.1 million. And, you know, players of that type of that could make that contract work. Also, Jonathan Simmons, he has about $1 million contract, although he's going to be a restricted free agent. So that may have an issue with that as well if they resign and trade. I'm not sure. But just the thought of that. If, you know, Carmelo agrees to it, he has the no trade clause. But what you think about that overall, Danny D, if that deal would happen? Would you even try to pursue that? What you think about that?
It depends if Carmelo wants to go. And, you know, Lamarcus, even though he don't play no defense and doesn't like to rebound, he's still an upgrade over Noah, who's played horrible coming to the Knicks. And Lamarcus could be a good fit. And because now if you get him, you can get another center, another big man just to get rebounds to offset Lamarcus's lack on defense. Because offensively, Lamarcus can play. And then if we can get another rookie, either they give up Kyle Anderson or Jonathan Simmons, that's a definitely upgrade that we can get on the roster. But that's if Carmelo wants to go. And because I don't know if Pop's going to either give up one of those two players, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I definitely hear where you're coming from with that. And thank you, D. What do you think about that flow overall?
And Larry, we touched upon this before with Melo. The only way this deal gets done if Carmelo Anthony waives his no trade clause. So at the end of the day, he has all the power in the world, not Phil Jackson. So for this deal to get done, Melo has to waive his no trade clause. Now, in terms of would I do this trade if I'm the Knicks? No, I wouldn't. The only way you can get away doing this trade, if like Danny D mentioned before, Coach Pop's gotta offer some more players. Simmons, Murray, Kyle Anderson. They gotta offer 3 players or some draft picks with Lamarcus Aldridge. The problem with Lamarcus Aldridge that I have with him is he's, you know, people criticize Melo for being a jump shooting small forward, but people fail to forget that Lamarcus Aldridge is a jump shooting big man. You know, he plays well with a pick and pop role, especially in Portland when he played with my man Damian Lillard, and currently with San Antonio with a healthy Tony Parker. But right now, no, Knicks don't really have a point guard to play pick and roll with Lamarcus Aldridge. So no, I wouldn't do this trade at all.
I hear you, fellas. Gotta agree with you on that. The only thing is that age difference isn't even that much difference. About 2 years difference. I believe Melo is going to be 33 next year, and Lamarcus is basically 31 next year. So you may get a little bit younger, and he's a legit power forward size-wise. So it may, on paper, it looks like one of them deals that may look better for the Knicks. But at the end of the day, after seeing how he played once Kawhi went down, and it's like, if you play that way in the playoffs and you did that in New York, they would eat him up over here. Because they eat him up in San Antonio right now. That's the reason why they're trying to get rid of him. That's what they even said in the article. It was a big disappointment in the Warriors series. So, you know, sometimes it's a fit that you think one player might be a better fit on another team. But if Melo does decide to waive his no trade clause to go there, that would say a lot about Melo. He really is trying to win. I know that's been a big knock. Some people say he was trying to go after money. Really didn't try to win like he should have. And, you know, Pop is going to make you work. He's going to make you play defense. And it's not going to be that, you know, players, when the playoffs start or in and out, that's one issue you have to think about. But I think with Kawhi and all that, it would definitely fit that team better for them. But I don't know. It's an interesting concept. Not sure that will actually going to happen, but just something I saw that I thought was kind of interesting. But we'll see where that goes as time goes along. If we hear any more, we'll definitely bring that to y'all. And Flo, you got anything regarding the Knicks weekly roundup?
Yes, LA. But before I continue, let me just correct you real quick. Melo turned 33 literally a couple of days ago. Literally like a week and a half ago. He turned 33.
Yeah, 33 because he's younger. I said he's 33 and was Lamarcus told me 31 next year.
Yeah.
So
Melo
2 years
just
difference.
turned
He's 2 years younger. 2 years older.
Yeah.
Okay. That's thank you.
No problem. In regards to the Knicks, the only rumor I've been hearing with the Knicks is possibility that the Knicks would do a sign and trade where they'll re-sign Derrick Rose and then trade him to Minnesota for Ricky Rubio.
I didn't hear that trade.
What's
That's
your
you,
take
Flo.
on this, guys?
You know that's you, Flo. You put that out there on Twitterverse. I know that's you.
I want to know what's your take on this, gentlemen. If this ever gets done, a sign and trade deal.
Nah, I heard that too, though. All jokes aside, I heard that. It's a more prototypical point guard. We talked about this a couple of times on the show. It definitely fit in better with the Knicks' needs, especially with Porzingis, and even Melo's still here because it would definitely help them out. My issue with Rubio, I still feel like he's not a great shooter, although his numbers have improved because, as you said in the previous episode, you showed us the numbers and we spoke about it. And defensively, he actually really improved too. It matters how much he's going to come here for, how much we're going to sign him. That's the biggest thing to me. But, I still like to see what Drew Holiday is. I still like to see what the draft gives first. Maybe if one of them point guards drop who I like, I would take a look at that first. But the biggest thing about how much he's going to sign to me, that's just my thoughts. What you think about that, Danny D?
If push comes to shove, Ricky Rubio will be the last on my list. I'm talking about the last person on my list. I don't want him or Derek, to be honest with you. I'd rather get Drew or Dennis Scott Jr., something like that. Smith Jr., excuse me. I just don't like Ricky Rubio. I just don't like him. Not personally, I just don't like his game. I never did.
No, I hear you. I'm iffy with it too. I thought he was gonna be better than he became.
Yeah, that's what probably. You know what it is, guys. I think I'm still bent over hurt because with Johnny Flynn was there and things like that, and then they picked Ricky Rubio over Johnny Flynn because he was supposed to be this great shaver that's supposed to come to Minnesota to save Minnesota because it was so much hype over him coming from Spain that he was gonna get busy, and he didn't. Yeah, I think that's what my downfall with me and Ricky Rubio is. That's what my honest opinion is. That's why I have beef with him. No.
And that team didn't really produce, not to put it all on Ricky Rubio, but, that team really didn't produce like you thought they would. And I think he had so much hype coming in. I mean, the passes they were showing, kind of like Pistol Pete stuff.
The pass. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of things
you ever see Flo, you saw the YouTube. Flo, he doing a no-look passes with the elbow. And so I'm like, that don't win games.
So I think that's what really had people hype. And I think just having that image kind of like tainted what he actually became, which he's a solid player. I can't take that from him. But it's just not what you thought it was going to be, and it's like you wonder how that's going to translate to New York. So I don't know. I know Flo is a fan of him somewhat. What you think about overall, Flo?
Gentlemen, I'm a big fan of Ricky Rubio, but to be honest with you, I'm going to shock you. I would not make this trade at all.
Whoa.
At all.
I'm shocked, man. What's up with that? Why?
At all. As much as I love Ricky Rubio, especially his defense, I just think right now with the Knicks, I think they're better off drafting a point guard in this year's draft as opposed to trying to trade for one, or even signing a big name free agent point guard. I have a particular point guard in mind for the Knicks. I love for them to sign, but he's not a big name, and I'll leave it a surprise as that for now.
George Hill?
No.
All right, you gotta tell us, man.
Nah, it'll be a surprise.
Wow.
I told you, Flo. Like we told Alec, we should have been went with George Hill, but no.
That is true. We had this argument. In the gym for a year. That's true.
But he said it's not George Hill though. He said somebody else.
No, I'm talking about George Hill faces, whatever. What's the guy we have, Flo?
Oh man, let what's the guy? Oh, not Pablo.
Exactly.
It was the other guy.
Exactly.
I forgot his name though. But it was the
Darren
guy.
Collison?
Say it again, Flo.
Darren Collison?
Nah, man.
It was a point guard we just signed not too long ago. From Toronto.
Remember who was the starter, Flo? He came from Toronto, European player.
Calderon.
Yeah, man. You talking about
Jose
George?
Calderon.
Calderon's better than George Hill.
Hey, that was back then, man. You know, George Hill stepped it up, and Calderon just fell off the cliff, man. But you know,
Come on, LA.
hey, y'all was getting on my boy Joel Embiid too, so we don't want to take it back there with guys was getting trash. Things happen. Things happen. That's it,
man. Tell them to finish the season first, though, man. Tell them to finish the whole season first.
Thank you.
Who the rookie of the year? You talking about that guy, man? You gonna be rookie of the year, man?
You sure?
Got hurt, man.
Oh man, that's funny.
Got to play at least 50 games, brother, to be rookie of the year candidate, in my opinion. Got to play at least 50 games.
Hey, I didn't see no writing with that, man. It's about the dominance, and that was the best rookie regardless.
Yeah, he can get rookie. Yeah, he can get rookie of the year for the first half of the season. Yeah, he can get that.
Still, his numbers
and
good.
His numbers and get another rookie of the year for the second half of the season. I'll do that.
Nah, he still deserves it in my eyes, anyway. But
no.
Anything else y'all got for the Knicks Weekly Roundup? If not, we'll just go ahead, Flo.
Nah, we're good.
Okay, very cool. All right, so we'll just jump into the next segment. Thank you guys, much appreciated. And our next segment, listeners, be NBA Sport News and Weekly Review. All right, we talked about it earlier and in the rundown. Basically, I just want to talk real quick about the NBA doctors ruled that Chris Bosh is dealing with a career-ending illness, meaning the Miami Heat will be able to remove his contract from their salary cap once they officially release him, according to multiple reports. Bosh hasn't played since February 2016 because of blood clotting issues, but he could still return and play in NBA after his official release from the Heat, but must provide the league with necessary medical evidence that he's healthy enough to do so. Bosh is guaranteed $52 million over the next 2 seasons, though a significant portion of that is covered by insurance. Current salary cap is $94 million and about $143,000. Projected cap is going to go to $101 million, and the salary cap with expected tax level would be $121 million, and that would be for the Miami Heat people right there. So that's their cap, $94 million, $143,000. So basically, I'm just trying to say, where does the Heat go right now regarding Chris Bosh? Since this seemed to be in the Chris Bosh career with the Heat in any effect. And they had to actually had this cap space to use on someone else. And we also talked a lot about this Chris Bosh incident regarding Chris Bosh and his overall personnel health in episode 11, Knicks fans, where do we go from here? Make sure to check that out. It's at the 24-minute and 50-second mark. We went really into a thorough conversation regarding, you know, the negatives and the positives. If he were to play again, his other options, he could do coaching. He could actually be a GM type of thing, those things. Maybe be an announcer. He has a lot of options. So we talk about those things, his family, health-wise, things he needs to look forward to, and is it even worth doing, you know? And we pretty much came to the conclusion that it really wasn't worth doing, and basically he needs to look out for his family and himself first at this point. He already won his rings and things of that nature. But, you know, not to digress, talking to you, Danny D, what you think about it overall regarding Chris Bosh and the Miami Heat?
Overall, you know, it's finally over. They can get it off the books. But like you know, Chris Bosh is also going to try to go back and try to play again. He has a set in his head that he wants to play. And then, you know, under the new CBA rules and things like that, he has to wait another 9 months, and he has to get reevaluated by the NBA doctors and also the NBA Association, Player Association, with their doctors to let him clear again, because he's going to try to play again. It depends on what CBA rule he's going to be, the new one or the old one. If he does decide to come back, he can do it immediately. Or if he does it under the old rule, the Heat he has to play at least 25 games, and the Heat will get penalized for having him play. So I don't know how that's going to work out. But then for the Heat, man, they just got to find out who's going to be in the free agent market to see who they can get. You know, because Dion Waiters is not coming back. He declined the $3.2 million. So he wants more money. So this might clear up space. Do you give Deion Waiters the money, or do you look for another big man or something like that to work with Hassan Whiteside? I'm not sure which direction they want to go in, though.
That's interesting. Thank you, Danny D. But with Waiters, if I was him, I'd definitely try to re-sign. I mean, it kind of resurrected his career a little bit. He got in a really good shape. And I read an article, and he was really breaking down how the Heat really get their guys in shape. They really, push that a lot. And he was saying he really felt comfortable there. So I'm kind of shocked he would not want to try to re-sign. I think he really should overall.
The money.
Yeah.
It's 3.2 million. He said he want more. He said he think he's worth more than that. He might, and he is, though. He's worth more than 3.2.
No, he definitely is. But right now, since they got additional cap space, they definitely try to work it out, I think, though, before they go down that road.
Definitely.
What you think about that, Flo?
Well, gentlemen, I think Miami Heat is going to probably go after Gordon Hayward, small forward for the Utah Jazz, or power forward Blake Griffin of the Los Angeles Clippers. I think that's where Pat Riley is leaning towards. That's just my opinion. I think the insurance should pay off Chris Bosh's salary. They have insurance on his contract, so they should be cleared. It won't be carried on their books, so that's perfect for them. And like I said, they'll go after one of those two players or even try to get both if they can.
Yeah, I don't know if they have enough money for both because they still got a Dragic contract on there. But even one would be definitely a big plus, an upgrade for them. And I think, honestly, even one would fit really well with that team with Dragic and the point guard ability as well. Hassan Whiteside with Blake Griffin, he's inside out kind of dude that would definitely help him out with that. And same thing with Hayward. I like Hayward for the Knicks. I really would like for them to get him, but Knicks are really not in that position to make that happen right now, it seems. So even one would definitely be a big plus to me that they can make that happen. Even with, Blake Griffin injuries, if he can stay healthy, especially with the Miami Heat and their trainers, they can get him, stay on that floor. I think that'd be definitely a good addition for them, though. Definitely something to see, though. All right, fellas, thank you for that. Any other thoughts regarding NBA or sports in general, fellas? Starting with you, Flo. You got anything else?
Yeah, LA, I have a couple of things real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, the first thing I want to talk about actually is, according to Brian Marin of Bleacher Report, if the Lakers draft Lonzo Ball with the second pick of the 2017 NBA draft, there's a possibility that combo guard Jordan Clarkson might be available for trade. One team, in my opinion, that might be real interested is probably the Orlando Magics, who've lost a lot of confidence in starting point guard Alfred Payton. The Magics definitely might offer the 25th pick of the 2017 NBA draft. With Clarkson, the last 3 years, he's averaged 14 points and 3 assists. He shot 44% from the field and 33% from three. What do you guys take on this? If the Lakers decide to put Clarkson on the trade market, and do you think what Orlando's offering is enough?
Okay, thank you, Flo, for that. How about you, Danny D? What you think?
And Flo, you said it's gonna be Alfred Payton in the draft pick?
No, right. As of right now, Orlando's offering just the draft pick right now.
Oh heck nah, man. Nah. I'm not doing no draft. Cause the thing, if the Lakers are smart, I'll give them D'Angelo Russell, but I'm not giving up Jordan Clarkson. D'Angelo Russell got to go.
I know you're trying to get rid of that kid, man.
Yeah, Russell got to go because I think that Jordan Clarkson is a way better player than D'Angelo Russell, and then Jordan Clarkson is a bona fide scorer. He can defend and he also can score, and I can't do it with the 25th. Nah, for me, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you this time, Danny D. I wouldn't do it because I don't think that he's the pure point guard. I think they really need more of that. And also, I think Peyton numbers actually was getting better as the season went along. I thought his field goal percentage, everything went up. I saw an article talking about some of the point guard that's under 30 who to really look for, and he was one of them. But to me, I feel like I would just like to wait that out a little bit. And, another year, I just don't want to give up a draft pick in that type of deal right now. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's that much of a, urgent type of thing. Just because that team needs more than that. even if you made that deal, you still need more chips to get to the next level right now. What you think about it, Flo?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I would definitely pull the trigger in terms of trading Clarkson just for that pick. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would love the Knicks to, reach out to Magic and see what deal can be done to get Jordan Clarkson. I wouldn't mind having him on the team if he might start a point guard.
I wouldn't mind. I just don't want him starting though. I see him more as a 6-man type of dude right now.
Okay.
Just because of the assists. The assists, and I'm thinking about Porzingis right now, whoever we build around. I really want a pure point guard type of player. That's the thing I'm looking at more. I see him more as like maybe a better Evan Turner type of player. He's a better defender to me a little bit, and he's younger. But I just don't know how you're gonna play if you put all the point guard responsibilities on him on a winning team. That's the thing, or a team that's trying to win. Get to that next level. So that's the only thing I'm worried about with that. And what's your second thing you had? You want to speak about, Flo?
All right. 2 more things. The second thing is actually something I saw this morning, but off the top of my head, it is the Charlotte Hornets looking to trade Nicholas Batum and Tyler Zeller to Philadelphia for the 36th pick of the 2017 NBA draft and Jahlil Okafor. What do you guys take on this?
That's interesting. What do you think about Danny D?
I don't know what Philly has enough centers. That's another thing, And then once again, the bad thing on Philly. And you said who wants to do the trade? You said Charlotte wants to trade, though, right?
Yeah, Charlotte wants to do this trade. With Philly, it makes sense only to have a backup for LA's boy Embiid, since he's I don't know if he can play a full season in this league yet, so they need a backup center. But the problem is he's making a lot of money. Zeller's making $12 million.
And what about Batum? Batum just got that contract too, right?
Yeah, he got that max money contract.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know, but the thing, and I can see what Charlotte's doing because I think that you still can't have Embiid and Jahlil Okafor at the same place. It'd be a good fit for Jahlil if he stays out of trouble. If Jahlil stays out of trouble, he can play in Charlotte. It'd be a good look for Charlotte, though. But I don't know so much for Philadelphia, just because of the money, even though they have a lot.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about what both of y'all guys presented. Batum is a pretty good player, though. I know he suffered from migraines and things of that, though. They had some issues with that for a while, really bad migraines. But he averaged like 15 points, I think, per game. And I think he's one of them, like 6 boards, and I think almost 5-something rebounds, too. He's a pretty good player, It just, you can see, like you said, what they're trying to do. They're trying to build a team around Simmons and around Embiid. And it's like that's like the third, big three, trying to do type of thing. But I don't know. That's a lot of money to put into that. That's the only thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. He makes a lot of money.
But they need a guard, though, right?
A lot. They should.
So they do have cap space. They don't really have that many people under their contract right now. So I understand, and you need to get rid of Okafor at this point because it doesn't seem like they're going to build around him. They kept him over Nerlens, and we thought they should went the other way. So I don't understand why he's still battling with that. But I don't know. I'm indecisive right now. I'm not so much worried about the pick, but it's more like I'm not a huge Zeller fan, so that's not really a plus to me. It's just basically doing for Batum, and I just worry about the migraine issue. If that's okay, then you might look into that. But I had to see how much years is under Zeller too. You know how many years he has for Zeller, Flo?
Say that again?
You know how many years left for Zeller contract?
I don't have it in front of me, and I apologize for that.
Okay, no problem. But that's the only issue I would have with that. What do you think about that deal overall, Flo?
Honestly, I think it's a good trade for both teams, and I'll tell you why. In regards to Okafor going to Charlotte, it's a win-win deal for him and for Charlotte because he gets to come back to the state that he loves playing for. Remember, he went to college at Duke University, located in North Carolina. It'll be like a second homecoming for him if you think about it. So that's one thing. Two, for Charlotte, remember Charlotte when they got to the playoffs, they played well going inside and out. They gave the ball to Al Jefferson, Jefferson and with Kemba Walker. So they played well. So definitely Okafor will replace Al Jefferson in my opinion. So to me, it's a good deal for Charlotte. As for Philly, I think it's a good deal getting Nicholas Batum. Why? Because I'm not too sure if Philadelphia can recruit potential free agents there. That's one. Two, they have plenty of money and cap space. It wouldn't surprise me if the NBA fines them because they have too much money in cap space. So they gotta figure out a way to take back some salary. They're one of a few teams that have to take back salary. The second team, in my opinion, is the Brooklyn Nets. So they gotta take some salary cap space. They gotta take some players back in return for salary. They got to. Honestly, guys, ask yourself this question: if you're a potential free agent, do you want to sign with Philly? I mean, yeah, playing with Embiid is nice, but do you know Embiid can play a full season in this league? Nobody knows, number one. Number two, we don't know what to expect of Ben Simmons. He hasn't played a game yet. He sat out an entire season, as the request of his agent. He sat out an NBA season. We don't even know what to expect, in all honesty. He put on so much weight after the NBA draft. So honestly, both teams got to do this trade. They got to do this trade. It makes sense. With the Colangelos, again, not too sure what they're doing, but this might actually make sense for them. They've already made a bad trade that we talked about before. We talked about it in the trade deadline, in our trade deadline special. They moved the wrong big man. They moved Nerlens Noel. We've criticized the Colangelos since they've been back to the NBA, the father-son combination, Philadelphia. So they got to pull this trigger. If this deal is available, they got to do it.
I don't know. I won't say they got to. Batum is not that type of player yet. You got to make that deal, but you definitely got to look it up. But one thing I just noticed, that's a $56 million contract they gave Zeller, and next year he's going to get $13 million, $14 million in 2019, and then $15 million in 2020, and 21 year then become a unrestricted free agent in 2021. So you got 3 more years of double digit in millions for Zeller. He's not worth that, man. 13, 14, and 15. Do I really want to sign on that just for Batum? For a team that may not even win next year? I don't know. That's a lot of money to get towards that guy. That's the same thing the Knicks are in that type of situation where you gave money to, Noah and all these other guys and you're trying to get rid of these contracts. So, I don't know. To me right now, I'm more on the out than in.
But like you mentioned before in the previous podcast, the market dictated that. Who is Charlotte competing against to re-sign Tyler Zeller? That's the question we said before in regards to Joakim Noah. I mentioned this in the previous podcast before. Who are you competing against to re-sign this guy for such a large amount of money?
Oh,
and you mentioned this before, LA.
Yeah, but not to interrupt you. It's Cody Zeller, though. It's Cody.
Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. He's not worth the money. I definitely agree. But again, like you said, you got a backup for Embiid. That's the good thing with Philadelphia. You definitely have a backup. Okafor is not going to get his minutes in Philadelphia. He's really not, unless Embiid gets hurt again.
No, I agree. I definitely see where they're coming from with it. I just don't know if those two guys are worth putting that type of investment in right now.
That makes a lot of sense. I agree. The salary, in terms of the money, Batum is making max money. Zeller is making too much money. I get that. But you got both teams that are really, Charlotte's trying to get back into the playoffs. And I'll be honest with you, with Charlotte, they haven't even drafted well the last couple of years. They've done a horrible job. We've given this guy a big pass, Rich Chow, who is their general manager. We gave him a free pass. And Michael Jordan. We gave them a free pass. They have not done a good job drafting-wise.
That's true. Mike got a track record for that, man. He's great on the court, but his drafting, even when he was with early in the season,
I see
you. Go ahead.
I see you, Kwame. I see you, Kwame. Go ahead, Mike.
He played a lot of seasons, though. It's just that he should not have been number 1 pick overall. That was the thing. He wasn't that type of player.
But that's the problem with MJ. He's always, with his high draft picks, he's always draft role players instead of doing enough research and trying to draft that next star. That's the problem with MJ.
Yeah, and then he killed his confidence. Like he did that back with Rip Hamilton when he was still playing. I remember they had him going against him in practice, and they said he was trying to crush that kid, man. And they ended up trading him, which was a horrible trade. And they traded Rip because he thought Rip wasn't tough enough, I believe. And you saw what happened with Rip. He got his ring with Detroit. And they gave it for Stackhouse, who was older at the time. And really didn't make sense to make that deal. But, that's neither here nor there. But definitely understood where you're coming from, guys. And what's your third thing you want to talk about, Flo?
Well, my third thing is actually some breaking news. Former Knicks coach Derek Fisher was arrested for a DUI in Los Angeles. That's my breaking news right now. Guys, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I heard about that. That was a alleged DUI they're saying right now. It's still in the beginning stages. They're still investigating it. Fisher, he's just having a lot of issues off the court, man. He had the issue with how, Matt Barnes and his wife, I believe, at the time, or girlfriend, I'm not sure. So there's a lot of issues with that. Fisher, just stay out of the news, man. Get things right personally on that level. I mean, I don't know if that really is the case. You hope that's not it. You hope it's not no alcohol issues. But it's just not a good look. And it seems like it's been having a lot of issues since he left the Knicks. So, I don't know. What you think about it, Danny D?
Yeah, man. I think he was. I think he had the car crash, whatever DUI, whatever he had with Matt Barnes' wife. She was in the car allegedly, whatever. Yeah, man. Just wasn't his daughter like sick in the hospital one time, like when he's playing with Utah, because he was head of the presidency, right?
Yeah, I remember that because it was a big thing about her being ill.
Yeah, man. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just be well, just stay out of trouble, and just be with the family, man. Just keep it on the low. That's it.
Exactly. What you think about that, Flo? Anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, the only thing I want to add is just hopefully, Derek Fisher can get himself out the news for any negativity. Hopefully it clears his name. And good thing nobody was hurt. That's the most important thing. But hopefully, he can get out of, he can, sit down, meet with his lawyers and clear his name and hopefully come to understanding of this. And hopefully he can get his life back on track because this is unfortunate. This is a guy who was fired from the Knicks and he was actually one of the, the Lakers brought him back as a color analyst. So, and he was doing some cameo appearances on TNT. So this is really just a black eye for the NBA, unfortunately, and for the Lakers organization.
No, very true. And you brought up a good point that, fortunately, nobody else was hurt, and including himself. It definitely could have been an even worse situation. And, just wish he'd get himself right and, wish he'd get back on track and hear some positive news. That's the main thing. Thank you there, Flo. Appreciate it, though. Anything else you want to add, Denny D, to our NBA news segment or sports segment?
Only got just two quick things. The first one was going to talk about with the Toronto Raptors. According to Chris Haynes, Dwayne Casey had a meeting with Kyle Lowry, and he brought DeRozan and Norman Powell out to the Bay Area, to talk to Kyle Lowry with him resigning. And then also he wants to have his team experience the NBA Finals culture and how it is out there, in the NBA Finals. How y'all guys feel about that?
Having that little powwow, a little sit down. That don't bode well to me, though. You got to do the powwow with the guys over in your team and been there for a while. And then you're going to let them see the bright lights of what's going to happen in Golden State after y'all got smacked up. I don't know, man. It makes me a little weary right there. What you think about it, Flo?
Well, they're desperate, so they're going to do whatever they have to do to, try to convince Lowry to resign with them. I think with Lowry, he's giving the organization some mixed emotions. Where he stated he wants to come back with Toronto, but also he stated that he wants to win a championship. So at this point, Coach Casey and Norman Powell and DeMar DeRozan, they decided to at least speak to him and try to see where his head is at, and hopefully they can convince him to resign with the team. So, I mean, it doesn't hurt for him to do it. But I don't know how much of an effect will it make on Lowry in terms of whether he feels appreciated or whether this is just Toronto just being desperate.
I hear you. I think they need another move, though. That's the thing that's going to make Lowry stay. They could get somebody like maybe a Blake Griffin and maybe get rid of Ibaka, something like that. Might make them think different. But I don't think the little powwow going to make that much difference down the road. What do you think about Danny D?
Yeah, it might be a difference, but Kyle Lowry has to be real himself too, because he hasn't performed well in any playoff series. All the playoff series, he's been playing horrible. So he has to realize that too, and they had his back. And yeah, I see what they're doing. Dwayne Quasey's trying to do that, but why the Bay Area? They even make it to the Eastern Conference Finals out there. You know what I'm saying? To go past it to really get that next step. But I see what he's trying to do. Well, it doesn't hurt to try though. But he's gonna make up his mind regardless, whether meaning or not.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, it's onus on both of them. I mean, he got hurt. He couldn't help that, but they spit the bit, man. They get swept. I mean, I know it's LeBron in them, but still, I mean, they did everything to try to battle against them, and then you couldn't even get a good game. That doesn't bode well, man. But
it doesn't bode well, and they regress. They regress.
Exactly.
Remember, last year they did better.
Yeah, they did, and I was shocked. I really liked that Ibaka move at the time in Tucker, but that's why they play the games, fellas. That's why they play the games. Sir. And what's the other thing we talked about, Danny D?
And the last thing I want to talk about too was, remember last week I was talking about Enes Kanter and his whole shenanigans out there. So breaking news once again is that for ESPN and other sources that his father got arrested, guys, over the weekend.
Yeah, I did see that one.
Turkish Rain. They ran up in, like I said, they ran up in the crib and they arrested 7 people. His father was Mr. Mehmet was arrested by the Turkish government.
Yeah, and it's crazy because Enes was basically saying that they allegedly are like threatening him and that type of thing. He feel like his life is on the line. That's basically reported. That's what I read and heard. What do you think about that, Flo?
It's really unfortunate, that his father got arrested, and especially with Danny D reporting last week and last week's podcast that in terms of the family disowning him. So it's just really like as the saga continues with Enes Kanter and company. It really is.
Very true, very true. But thanks as always for your in-depth assessment, fellas. Really appreciate it. And now we're going to have our closing remarks for today's show. You got anything for closing remarks, Flo?
Yeah, LA, I want to thank you and D for allowing me part of this great podcast. I want to thank all the listeners. Please continue to tell a friend, subscribe to the show. And again, this is a great show, not just for Knicks fans, but also for NBA fans all over the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Flo. Much appreciated, brother. How about you, Dan D? What you got? Anything for closing remarks?
I'm going to thank LA and thank Flo. Thanks for being on the show, guys. Appreciate it. And just going to thank the fans. Keep on subscribing. Tell a friend and tell a friend. And to show love.
That's right. Much appreciated, bro. As always. Thank you, guys. Definitely couldn't do a show without y'all. Thank you, listeners. Always appreciate it. And, make sure to tell your friends, share. And, let them know. The show, we try to give you what we can. We give you the best that we can every episode. Giving you no fluff. Giving you the NBA. Giving you sports in general. If you got some topics you'd like to hear, let us know our email, knicksfandom@gmail.com. Also on our Facebook page. Make sure to like it. Give a review if you can. And we'll see you next week, fellas. And listeners as well. All right. Have a good one. See ya.